Hey, welcome to Behind the Message. My name is Rodrigo Cano, and I am here with Dave Ferguson, the co-founding pastor of Community Christian Church. Dave, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
Thank you.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great too.
Yeah?
I'm doing great. Yeah. So we just finished filming the message for Vision Sunday.
Yep.
And I just gotta say, it's a great message, and I know a lot of people are really are gonna be touched by the message and challenged by the message. And so I want to talk about it. If that's fine
Yeah,
with you.
let's do it.
Well, there's a lot of things that you mentioned there, and I want to talk about a few of those.
Okay.
First, you start with the idea of doing life on your own, and then doing life with other people, or you plus. Use the idea of you or you plus. So tell me a little bit more about that.
What we're really talking about is discipleship here. But what we're doing is introducing some new language. And I think the language is either you or you plus, which is a fundamental, I think, biblical choice that we make to either do life with God or without God.
Yeah.
To do life just following ourselves in our own heart or following Jesus. And I think you could break it down as simple as going, okay, when you decide to do life all on your own, you're choosing to be God.
Yep.
Which my experience with that is flawed and dangerous. Whereas the you plus life is saying, okay, you know what? I'm going to follow Jesus as I know him. Okay, as I know God in Jesus. Not only that, then I'm also going to have a set of people. I'm going to do life in community. It's called the church.
Yeah.
But there's actually relationships, there's friendships that you're going to do that with other people. Because even sometimes me and God, my voice drowns out God. So I need other people listening for me.
Yeah.
And then thirdly, what it also says when you do this U plus life is there is, in Ephesians 2:10, it says there's a good work
Yep.
that God prepared in advance for you to do. And that's every person. There's a good work that before you were born, God had in advance. Here's the difference I want you to make in the world. And you're going, hey, God, I want you to help me discover that. So, I mean, you could break it out, and we'll talk about this in the weeks to come. Yeah. The U plus life is really, it's you plus God, it's you plus the church, and you plus the world. And I think it is a fundamentally much better way to live life that also offers you the promise of eternity.
That is really good. That is awesome, man. So talking about that, the vision moving forward, I mean, we also talk a little bit about 33 years of Community Christian Church and doing life, and even like a little bit of paradigm shift in terms of we have a vision and you can help, and now it's like, no, you can do it and we want to help. So how did we arrive there?
We go through a series of retreats. We went through a retreat with our leadership team. You're a part of our associate leadership team. We brought them in as well. And we had a whole list of like big, bold ideas that we can go after. And I think we have a history of definitely going after big, bold, courageous things, sometimes accomplishing them, sometimes falling short, but never afraid of it.
Yeah.
And it kind of felt like, okay, what's the next big, I'd say next hill that God's asking us to conquer. And this time it just felt different. It's going like, you know what, instead of like, hey, here's where we're going, and all of you can help us at the church accomplish it. It felt like that God was giving us, like I said, gave us an unsettled feeling like, nope, instead of starting with the big dream and the bold vision for the church, we got to start with people.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're watching, part of the U plus vision for this next year is our sole vision is you. That we want to help you figure out what it looks like to live a U plus life. In fact, so much so that the plan is, and Rodrigo, we're talking about this a lot, is how do we actually have a one-on-one conversation? We sit down with you, not manipulating or cajoling. You're not going to do anything you don't want to do. Yeah. But like, what is it you want to do? And we're there to help you grow spiritually. And in particular, those three relationships.
I love that part. I mean, I love the whole thing, but that part of having one-on-one conversations with people and just really trying to seek for God's wisdom into what God might be prompting us. We have three amazing stories in the video or in the teaching today. And so you have the opportunity to sit down with them. I know we were able to show just a portion of their stories because of time, but tell us a little bit more about those stories and like even the feeling around the table as you're hearing the stories.
Well, again, I would say that makes the Vision Sunday talk worth going back and watching just to hear their stories. So the one you have Monica, who is, I think Monica's like 24 years old. lives in the city, recently moved. She's in grad school there, found community through Community Online. But I don't, without giving away her whole story, I mean, it was what she considered like a divine interruption in her life, God trying to get her attention.
Yeah.
And he did. And she found her way back to God, and she's going to be baptized. So
awesome.
it's just it's an awesome story of going from, and she talks about it, maybe not in the exact same language, but from U to U+. So then you got Kat. Kat's in her 30s, young lady, super bright. But instead of kind of like God getting her attention all at once, it was like a year of real struggle, real pain, real suffering. I won't give away the whole story. You ought to go check this out. And for her, that was where also she found her way back to God. But the big life change for her was this kind of this U+ church, was discovering a community of people who supported her, encouraged her. I mean, she does life with them now. I mean, that's her friend group. It's people that she's in small group with. It's people she sits in church with, and really kind of counts on and depends on, and is a help and support to them too. Yeah. So it's really cool. The last story then, and you know Rick. Yep. Rick's actually also in my small group, a friend of mine, and Rick's really, he's an example of kind of what we'd call U+ the world. He's really discovered his calling. He's discovered his purpose. He has a deep, profound passion for kids with special needs and their families. Yeah. And there's a unique call, I think, and challenge that God has on his life, and he tells the story with just great conviction. And it's worth watching. Yeah. But we gave those stories, offer those stories to you because while I think they're riveting stories, they're not unique. That in the same way, I think for you, for me, for everyone listening in, I think God has a U+ plan for each of our lives.
Yeah, that's awesome. And even as you think about the U+, and we're encouraging everyone to have one-on-one conversations, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but have you given it any thought in your own life? Like, where do you feel God might be prompting you to grow in your U+ God, U+ the churches, U+ the world? Or
I think probably the two parts for me is, I'd say on the one hand, I think the U+ God, I've got too much going on. I got too much going on right now, and there needs to be just a more consistent Sabbath, those kinds of things. Because I think the pace that I'm currently going kind of says, it sounds like you're depending on you, Dave, and not U+ God. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I think the other one too, in the U+ the church, I think because of pace, sometimes I don't have as deep of friendships. I got people I can call, but it's some great people around me, but I could have even deeper friendships. So I think those are the two, probably for me, not so much the third one that I need to go to work on.
Yeah, that's good.
How about you?
Thank you for sharing that. I mean, I've been thinking about this for some time, and I mean, definitely, I'm not as fast paced as you are, but there's a lot of things going on in my life, and like finding that balance, or depending more on God. Even my background story, like I grew up in a church, in a Pentecostal church, so where there was a lot of dependency on God, and then went from that to a more like systems and process, and which they're not bad. We need those things, but I think at some point in my life I make the switch to depend more on those things.
Now, when you say systems and process, is that like theological or like leadership strategy?
My leadership strategies, which once again, nothing wrong with those. We need those things, but
not absent from God.
Exactly. So that dependency from God, like God, we're gonna do these things, but it's all because of you. It's by your grace that we can do all of these things. So I think that's one area where I need to grow, and just like you said, I think I love being around people, and so getting to know their stories a little bit more deeper, and just walking with them, I think that's where I would love to invest my life. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, good. There's gonna be a lot of next steps and a lot of things. So what would you say? Like, what would be the clear next step that we can take today, this week? What can we do as a church individuals?
Really, I mean, the purpose for this Vision Sunday was really kind of a foreshadowing of what we're going to do in the fall. And so I think for people listening, I mean, to begin to wrestle with that, do you really want to live a U+ life? I mean, in each of those areas, U+ God, U+ church, a community of friends that you're going to do life with, and U+ the world, a place you're going to be. Do you really, is that what you're going to do? Because if that's the case, there's going to be a series of opportunities come this fall. And one of the biggest ones that we're going to do is we literally, and we know even with a church our size with multiple expressions and stuff, it'll mean we'll probably have several thousand
yeah.
of like one-on-one conversations where you have the opportunity to think through, to put to paper or digitally into your phone or your laptop. Here's what I intend to do this next year.
Yeah.
And we want to help surround you with folks that can help you accomplish that. In some ways, I kind of think of it as almost like if anybody's ever done like a life plan, it's almost like your own individualized spiritual life plan.
Yeah.
Because I think all of us have aspirations for what we would, we're talking about here, who we want to be, what we want to do in our spiritual life. What we've decided is, you know what? We're going to do everything we can to help you accomplish that. And if that appeals to you, then lean into it. If you know people that you're going like, yeah, I know other people who want to grow spiritually, then bring them along with you. We would love, love, love to help them.
That's really good. Dave, thank you so much for sharing that message today and just casting vision for the church. I'm looking forward to what this next season is going to look like, and I'm super excited about it. So thank you so much for leading us so well. And everyone who is listening, remember you can find these and more information at communitychristian.info, and we hope to see you soon. Bye. And the areas where we need to work and stuff.
Hearing you. Sorry, could you say that again?
Is that Siri? Is that your Siri?
That's what I watch. Yeah.
Is that your Siri?
Maybe we have the same accent.
The same accent? Yeah, there you go. We just discovered that me and they have the same accent, and that's why Siri.
That must be why.
Yeah.